did Western Twitter actually get triggered over a Hello Kitty mascot? Short answer, yes. Long answer, let's take a look at this report in just a moment. Welcome back. So let me give you the full headline here. This is my website, Nyan.net. You're probably familiar with it, although unfortunately the last few months with all the crazy stuff going on, I had to take a hiatus with working on the website. Luckily, we are back in production, and I have two wonderful people who will be helping me very soon with some articles on here as well. So that's exciting stuff. Take a look if you haven't, nyannet.com. The report today, titled, Western Twitter flings volley of hate at Japan's Hello Kitty mascot, Pom-Pom-Purin, because he's wearing police attire. You know, the other day I talked about watching anime as a little kid and being so young that you knew what cartoons were, but you didn't really know what anime was. You thought it was a weird cartoon. At least I felt that way. And a lot of people agreed, at least those who watched anime at such a young age, mostly stuff on Toonami, etc., etc. One other example I can give is going through the malls. I always lived in the city my whole life, and we'd go through the malls, and as a young kid, I would see Hello Kitty. And I didn't really know what it was all about. But I always thought, that's such a cute store. I almost felt a little silly going into it because it was such a girly, cute store, but I enjoyed it. And I remember you used to have like a little arcade game you would play, like some frog mascot. Anyways, what I'm getting at is, Hello Kitty is such an innocent line of products. I can't believe Westerners are getting triggered over a Hello Kitty mascot. Never in my life would I imagine that we would come to a situation where people from the USA, United States, are getting triggered over a little adorable mascot. That's where we are now, apparently, in 2020. If that's a frightening prospect, I think you have a completely reasonable take to find that frightening. I mean, if that is something that people get triggered over now, where are we headed as a society? That is pretty terrifying to me. Anyways, let's give you the news. Japanese company Sanrio, which specializes in kawaii pop culture products, licenses, and designs, recently received a barrage of insults from Western Twitter. You may be familiar with Sanrio from their popular Hello Kitty line of products. Another popular character from Sanrio is the golden retriever Pom-Pom-Purin. If you don't know who that is, Pom-Pom-Purin is a good-natured golden retriever dog character introduced by Japanese company Sanrio in 1996. Born on a sunny day on April 16th, Pom-Pom-Purin lives in his own basket in the entrance hall of his sister owner's house. His trademark is his brown beret that is always on top of his head. Oh, and there's the pictures for you guys. So, how do you get triggered over this? This is a cute mascot. On top of that, he's a golden retriever, one of the most friendly, kind dogs. I mean, there's literally a saying that a golden retriever is the best dog to have around kids because it's such a friendly, nice dog, like Sanrio here. So why is Western Twitter mad about this? Well, because of this picture of Pom-Pom-Purin wearing a law enforcement officer's attire. This tweet was from June 16th, and, well, translates to simply, good morning, I'm watching somewhere today, please be careful. Now, I like to always disclaim that Google Translate's a bit scuffed, but I think that one does a decent enough job. You get the idea. So, one simple tweet of an adorable dog mascot in law enforcement attire riles up Western Twitter. They get all mad. They get all outraged. They get all mad about this and start hating on Japan and start hating on the mascot. Westerners flood the comments saying things like this, AC, and you have the other two characters there. I don't want to repeat that because I don't want it taken out of context, and I certainly don't feel that way. Now, listen, if you feel that way, I'm fine with it. I would welcome the discourse. We could have a talk about that. A lot of the people who do feel that way are not only incapable of having a genuine discussion, though, they don't even want that discussion. They just want to throw hate. It is what it is, though. I'm not going to tell you how to feel, and if you disagree with me, that's totally fine, because, again, I welcome discourse. I don't really care. Here's the news. It goes on for a bit, and more people start pushing back against it. Before we get to the pushback, though, let me give you some more examples. By the way, if you don't know what this means, it's basically saying something terrible and generalizing all police, saying that terrible thing about all of them. Just look it up if you really want. Another example. One user says, not you too, and ats Pom-Pom-Purin while forcing the doggo to stare down the barrel of this firearm right there. Isn't that wonderful? 700 plus people like that tweet. You have a simple little adorable golden retriever dog mascot from the company behind Hello Kitty. Wow, how offensive getting mad over Hello Kitty. How pathetic are you people? They get so mad about that they want to force the dog to stare down that. Absolutely disgusting. This dude's argument is all over the place. And like I just said, oftentimes these kind of Westerners who are so intolerant, they actually can't even have a debate. I think that's part of why so many of them avoid it, because they can't actually have a debate anyways. They would fail. Now, what's the reasonable thing to do, though? The reasonable thing to do, in my opinion, is not to avoid debate. It's to get better at debating. Maybe look up some people who are good at debating, get some tips from them, and try to debate some people, because you will get better. If you're not good at it, what do you have to lose? Try it out and improve. But again, that's work. And these Westerners don't like work at all. They hate work. They don't want to work. They just want to cry on Twitter and tear everything down. Why would they want to work for a society that they're trying to destroy, right? That's what they're trying to do, in my opinion. They are destroyers, miserable people. And here's the funny thing. So this tweet gets posted on June 16th. On June 17th, the same person then backpedals a little bit, kind of. It gets a lot worse. We'll take a look at that in a moment. They add this to their tweet. They say, if you're mad about a fake cartoon character, check. Dude, you're the one who's mad about the fake cartoon character. You're the one who posted the tweet above that with that picture and said, not you too. You're the one who's mad. Says, if you're mad about a fake cartoon character, check out the website about violence in Japan with their LEO. You get the idea. And anyways, people start calling this person out, causing that person to then flip-flop all over with their argument. Take a look at this. Says, Japanese cops are more reliable than your country's, Westy. Says, not arguing that one. Another one, don't undermine Japanese police. I'm more confident in Japanese police than you. He says, same here. What? This is what I mean. These people, they don't even know what they're talking about. They just post hate on Twitter, try to destroy stuff, and that's like the worst thing too. They're trying to destroy, a system that they don't even understand. What's more work? Trying to understand the system and make it better, or just tearing down the whole thing? I suppose you could debate either point, to be fair. Tearing down the whole thing is probably not very easy. But to a simple-minded person, it seems a lot easier, right? Do we have to go through the whole system and figure out the problems and work that out and try to make it better and then wait months seeing if it did improve, or years and then adjust it again? Or do we just tear down the whole thing? You know, to a simple person, option 2 definitely sounds like the easier case. As I said, in my opinion, I think you can make a fair debate for either one, to be honest. I mean, it's not easy tearing down a whole system, like I said, but you get the idea. It goes on. Someone says, don't care, didn't ask. Plus, I believe Japanese cops are still less crooked than the U.S. Says, just a joke, lol. Guys, how many times have we seen that on Twitter, where someone posts a terrible hot take, they get called out, and then they're like, oh, it was just a joke, bro. What, you don't like funny jokes? You're not like a funny person? You don't get it? It's so pathetic. Oh, it's so pathetic. Says, whatever you say. Sorry for taking it too seriously, though. It's okay. It's hard to read tone over the internet. And without knowing me, you wouldn't know what my brand of humor is. Have a good day. Why do I get the sneaking suspicion that this dude has used that exact same tweet before to other people? Oh, it's just a joke, man. Oh, it was a joke? Yes. And then it's like copy paste that. He's got like saved on a notepad or something. It's okay. It's hard to read tone. I'm not going to reread it. You get the idea. It's different from America. Yup. Do not discriminate. He says yup as he posts above that what we just read. Again, the logic is not there. Do not bring discrimination into Japan. This is Japanese police, not the style of American police. It's not even real if you think about it. What do you mean it's not real? The mascot's not real. Japanese police are real. American police are real. What are you even talking about? These people don't know what they're talking about. We got one more thread to take a look at here. This is so pathetic. This guy says, just so you know, don't confuse Japanese police with American police. A word of advice, though, stop generalizing and saying that all police everywhere are like America's. He then just cusses him out in response and says, the reasonable person says, a little question. Do Americans just generalize? A little question. Do you know what a joke is? Do you read this deep into everything? Now, let me just point something out really quick. I don't really like doing these funny voices. Sometimes I think it's kind of tacky, to be honest. But it does help people who are audio only understand when I'm speaking for different people. So bear with me. Says, regardless of it being a joke or not, it's still good advice, and I hope you can at least know about it. It's something to take from. Don't generalize. So really, do Americans generalize? Also, no need to be disrespectful and hostile, sir. Why don't you go listen to some Trivium, LMAO? And that's that. Now, while the last person we took a look at was all over the place with their argument and resorted to then just insulting people, this is the classic everything is political card. Let me give you the context first. This tweet says, he's a Japanese character and you're other people. If you don't like it, don't look at it. Don't bring politics into anime. And Emily says, art is inherently political. Applies to games, movies, TV shows, books. Not true. Let's look at Death Note. Easily a criticism of Japan's court system. Prove it. Steins Gate, and by extension, the Psy ADV franchise as a whole. Criticizing the masses for not fact-checking or searching for truth. The irony of that person saying that as they provide no evidence for their claims about Death Note being criticism of Japan's court system is hilarious to me. Also, Steins Gate, where's your evidence for this? This is your opinion, unless you can provide us actual evidence from someone, say, one of the creators of the shows, that would actually be evidence. But you know, who wants to provide evidence when you're a Westerner on Twitter trying to tell everyone that everything's political anyways, when that's completely not true? There's a clear distinction here, and if you've heard me talk about this before, I apologize for repeating myself, but it does bear repeating. When we sit here saying we don't want politics in entertainment, we're not talking about having politics in world, in canon, in universe, in said entertainment, because that's totally fine. For example, Gundam. My phone's going off. Let me give you a different example. Full Metal Alchemist, right? There's politics all over the place with that, but it works in universe. It develops the story, it develops the characters, the progression, everything. And it's not blatantly talking about real current political issues, things that we have seen Funimation do, where they change context, for example, in Dragon Maid and talk about the patriarchy being so bad. This is current real-world political rhetoric, and that has no place in entertainment, especially, and I can't even stress how especially, I wish I had a different word right now, super especially when the original IP to begin with didn't even talk about said political issue. At that point, you are abusing the trust of the IP holder, in my opinion, because I doubt they know you're going to change the context like that and use it to spread a political issue that they probably don't even know anything about or care about even. Because as we've seen, plenty of Japanese people have told us that most Japanese people don't care about Western politics. They don't even want to hear it. They have their own problems, their own stuff to worry about over there. You know? Not everything revolves around the USA. And some of these Westerners that try to act all tolerant think the world revolves around them. It's a disgusting irony. Anyways, the point about this is we don't want our entertainment being used to force real political rhetoric down the throats of the viewers and basically manipulate them into voting a certain way or something like that. Political things can absolutely occur in entertainment. Just keep it strictly to the entertainment and keep it to making entertainment better entertainment. I think that's the simplest way for me to put that. And we're almost done with this report, though. I don't know if I read the response. Let me do that. The response says, I see. Anime may include politics, but Japanese anime is our culture, not yours, and Americans' police have no relations with Japan's. You have no right to interfere, so I say you keep your nose out of our business. Some Westerners did at least push back, though. Says, ignore other Americans. They're insane. I'm going to have to agree. And then like a, little emoji or whatever that means. Another example, the comments are just another sign of Westerners ruining everything. Finally, I would like to end with this, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to let you know that this is in the Nyan Net article. If you are out of the loop a little bit and you would like this information, I'll leave a link in the description and maybe a pinned comment, with this article. At the very end of the article, I go over this thread and I link back to Oliver Gia. You may have seen me talking about Oliver in other videos. He is a Tokyo-based researcher, and he does a great job of spreading facts and other information on Twitter when there's so much of the opposite on there, so much fake stuff all over Twitter. So check out Oliver if you haven't already. You might enjoy his tweets. For example, let me give you the context and we'll end this. Some people here were misrepresenting some of the protests that were going on in Japan, and this has been a big thing going on Twitter. Let me be specific about the big thing. The big thing is not the protests in Japan. The big thing are Westerners trying to manipulate other people by misrepresenting the protests in Japan. So that gets cleared up somewhat here in this thread. For example, Sarima says, it's a tiny protest, mostly Gaijins, they didn't do anything significant, etc., etc. And if you want more of an extension on that, again, the thread's here, and I link to 2 other threads that you might find interesting from Oliver Gia as well. So take a look at that if you'd like, and that's the end of my report here. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider thumbs up, sharing, commenting. All of that helps greatly. Subscribing if you're not already. If you are subscribed, consider hitting that notification bell as well. Please, be much appreciated. If you want to take it even further, Once again, on nyannet.com, my website, I have an integrated PayPal button at the very bottom of the website. Safe, secure if you want to send a one-time donation. Much appreciated. Also, Patreon, link in the description, or a channel member via the join button. And finally, some shouts out to the kind people who promoted yesterday's, I think we got 2 videos. Let's get on that. All right, shout out to Raja Yu, Phantom R, Baku Girl, Pot on the Brain, The Dinosaur King, DX DKJ, Amazing Ronin, Phantom R, Shogun, DX DKJ, Intimidator 0108, Pot on the Brain, Striker Red. Thank you all very much once again. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I look forward to seeing you next time.